Chapter 4 of Adoption First Choice. Today I want to follow up on the Loving Shepherds Ministry website and resources that I talked about in Chapter 3. I had filled it out originally when we first started this process, and I was saying it was really beneficial as far as just kind of showing us what countries we might qualify for, how certain countries work and what to expect, and then some things that certain countries might be sticklers on. So I just recently did it again just to see where we would be at now with our current, updated information of how long we've been married and everything like that. And, turns out we qualified for a lot more now. So I wanted to show you, this is one of the forms that I just got. So it shows some of the requirements, maybe how their system operates a little bit. And then it even shows some of their current status as far as COVID or traveling. So then I selected the attachment that was Philippine specific, since that's where we are adopting from. And this is what that looks like. You can see it explains their system a little bit more, what age groups you might expect, siblings. And then you can see at the bottom that they are sticklers for some health diagnoses and just general health. So that kind of gives you an idea of what I was talking about there with some of the specific ones that they list. So the other thing that I wanted to address was when we first started this process, we looked at all of the venues. We looked at domestic and open adoption. We looked at, the foster care system and went to kind of one of the seminar classes that they had. We looked at international, and obviously, like I said, we ended up with international, and we got a lot of questions, why? And it couldn't help but feel like when people were asking, it was like they were disappointed that we weren't adopting domestically. And I was like, well, why international? We have so many, kids here in the US, which kind of felt like the underlying reading between the lines of what they were getting at. And first off, let me just preface this with, I'm obviously supporting all types of adoption. And I believe that each person kind of has their strengths, and each person has their hole that they're gonna fill. And so the people who do domestic, that's great. I support it. I think more people should do it. The people who do foster care, that takes a certain type of person. So that's great. And I wish more people did that. But with the international and why we felt called to go that certain way is really when we started, I just always kind of said, I want to give a family to like the truest form of an orphan. They have no aunts and uncles. They don't have any cousins. They don't have a mom and dad. There is no family system that they have for any type of support. And when we found, the orphanage in the Philippines, and, the status of what they call these children is foundlings. That was the first time I'd ever heard that word. And it is what it says. They just found them wandering the streets. Or, a parent gave them to someone and then you never saw the parent again. And there wasn't really a way to track down the parent. They didn't know the kid's name. They didn't know the parent's name. So yeah, there really was, like I said, just no network for the child whatsoever. They were just in the orphanage, and all they knew were, the social worker or the caregivers. So that's why we went that way. But like I said, I obviously support all adoption. I wish everyone considered it more. And I think it's a beautiful thing, and that all these kids need homes. And when you hear the statistics of approximately 150 million orphans in the world, to me, it's all children are children. All children deserve a home. All children deserve a loving family. So for us, it didn't really matter where they came from. It was just to give a child a loving, caring home and parents. So that's a little bit more about our story. And then to recap, like I said, to follow up on that Loving Shepherds Ministry website, I just really, anything like that. And again, if you find another website that does something similar, please comment and leave it. I obviously didn't scour the whole internet and find every single resource out there. I didn't read every single book. I'm just going off of in our experience and what was recommended to us, the websites, the books, you know, the online education, all of that, with what our bubble was and where people kind of guided us to, the things that I kind of had to find myself, or the things that I found especially beneficial and helpful that I want someone else to be able to find and use. So that's the scoop on that. I hope that was helpful. I hope you learned a little bit more about us, and we'll see you in the next episode.